a good break, and I hope you're ready for some fireworks.
Oh,
Yes,
yes.
of course.
Yes, fireworks. Let's see in here.
Not literally,
Well,
of course. Yeah.
yeah. Now we'll have a word from our lovely sponsor, AMPECO, about how to make charging profitable through a great software solution. So this will be exciting. Please welcome to the stage Stefan Ivanov.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here in front of you. I'm quite excited, but also, honestly, a little bit nervous because I know in this room there is much more people that know more about EV charging than me. Because when we started AMPECO 7 years ago in the country of Bulgaria, there was less than 100 EVs. And now we are at 10,000, so we are gaining ground, but of course, still a long way to go. And I'll be happy to share some of the findings we have by working with customers on all continents. Some of the biggest CPOs in Europe, like Ion Public Charging, LOA What If, but also the biggest CPOs in countries like Israel, Taiwan, Brazil, Australia, New Zealand, and many others. And we'll talk about profitability, and I think we can all agree that there is two main components to it, and one is scale, and then it's also margins. And you need both of these happening at the same time. And we know that's something that is a big challenge, and we've identified 5 main challenges, which are the main things to address as a EV charging provider. And unfortunately, we don't have much time, so I will be able to just go briefly through them. And if you want to share some experiences or just discuss some of the topics, please come to our booth at the exhibition. So unfortunately, I'll talk about obvious problems that I'm pretty sure most of you know, which again have complex and multidimensional solutions. And the first thing, I think everybody can agree here, is low network uptime. As an EV driver, and I'm sure you had the same experiences, we've both been in the cases where a charger didn't work. And various studies show that at least 1 in 5 EV drivers won't return to the same charger if it fails them. So solving this challenge is one of the most important, but at the same time, one of the hardest in this industry, because it's a combination of a lot of components like hardware, being the charge points, but also the credit card terminals and even other devices right now, like parking sensors and so on. At the same time, the software platform that needs to orchestrate all these devices. Connectivity plays a big part in it, and there's different ways you can solve it, SIM cards or local connections and so on. And last but not least, all the integrations that are mandatory for the process, like payment processing, fiscalization, and integration with other systems needs to work as well. So we are actually doing a lot to try and work with all of these partners, and at the same time we're trying to focus on our piece of the puzzle. So 30% of our roadmap goes into what we can do to help EV charging companies operate tens of thousands of chargers efficiently. And that's why we're investing a lot in things like automated alerts, automatic resolutions through algorithms, or working very closely with hardware manufacturers like Alpitronic and Alphen and Zaptec and many others to make it as seamless as possible. And the second thing is low network utilization. I don't think I need to explain it. There is 2 aspects here. One is public charging, where you're thinking how I sell as many kilowatt hours as possible. And there is a lot of different things you can do, like discounts, integrations with loyalty, of course roaming, and all the payment options needs to be there. Unfortunately, there is not a one-size-fits-all. So we are doing a lot there as well. And private charging, it's more about how you ensure you're the best fit and you have something extra for your specific target segment, being residential or fleets or workplaces, whatever. Again, no one-size-fits-all. And that's why with AMPECO, what we are trying to do is to provide you the tools so you can build your unique service offering, right? Because the more tailored you are, the more success you will have, especially as you are competing with others. And also pure user experience, extremely important, not an easy one. There is so many ways now that an EV driver expects to start, stop, and pay for the charging, and all of these things needs to work in a seamless and integrated manner. And something that's overlooked, especially at the beginning, is high transaction costs, because at the end of the day, margins are what keeps us alive, right? And quite often, of course, you have the PSP, the payment processor cost, but you have also markups from the provider if they're providing a bigger part of the service to you. It's great, but when this scales, things start to get more important to optimize this as much as possible. And that's why AMPECO doesn't charge any extra fees on top of the payment processing. In addition to that, we even go the extra mile and ensure pre-negotiated terms to our customers with our partners, being PSPs, roaming operators, and others, to ensure you're benefiting from the same terms that some of the biggest CPOs in Europe and your respective markets are utilizing as well. Because at the end of the day, even just small improvements in the transaction costs lead to pretty significant profit margins increases, right? And it's a relatively low margin business, so we need to be cognizant about it. And we have cases where we are improving this with like 2-3%, which makes a huge difference, especially as you scale, right? It's the difference between being really successful and kind of doing okay. And solving these 4 challenges, unfortunately, is the baseline for survival. Extremely important, but at the same time, the customers will choose you only if you address the last challenge, which is lack of differentiation, right? And it's very important because that's how you stand out. But you need to have your own brand, you need to have an integrated solution with your already existing services and so on. And also you need to own your USPs. And these are just some of the things that our clients are doing, like integrating loyalty seamlessly in our offering and their offerings, parking gates and sensors for better accessibility, or dashboards that are tailored to their specific cases, like residential or fleets. Some of our clients are working with some of the biggest fleets, and you want to understand it's AMPECO underneath. And when we combine all these 3 factors, we believe this is the recipe to be a market leader. And the thing is, it actually takes some time to do it. So in order to be a market leader, you need to start now, so you can build it up by 2030. And it's something that's not easy to outsource, because this is what makes you different, right? So you cannot build the muscle when you're just looking. You need to be lifting weights, right? And that's why we are helping. But at the same time, we're hearing these things like EV charging business is too complex and we cannot handle everything ourselves. And that's completely understandable. Or we are hearing the other part, which is it's not cheap, but it's so important to own our differentiation, so we want to do everything in-house. We believe there is a better way, and the right partners can make it simple and cost-efficient, at the same time give you all the freedom to own your differentiation, right? And that's what we are doing. We are looking to support the ambitious companies, the ones who want to be market leaders in their respective area, and we are supporting them with industry-leading platform that's one of the most flexible, if not the most flexible platforms in the market, with complete free transparency, giving you full ownership over your brand, your data, and also we're not monetizing you in any other way. And we are bundling that with cost-efficient partnerships that allow you to start small with terms that are already comparable to the big players in the industry. So thanks, everyone. And if you want to chat more, we have a booth, and have a great rest of the evening.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Stefan, for your contribution and also for being such a big sponsor. So you make this also possible. So thank again for your contribution. Give him a big hand. Thank you.